Hey, this is Downtime Studios, and this is the Lonely Time Podcast, just to make your day a little less lonely.
Hello.
I'm here with my compatriots. Please introduce yourself. I'm sorry.
Alphabetically, hi. My name is Andrew. I work at Downtime Studios.
Hi, I'm Nishant. Wait, that's out of order.
Yes, that's correct.
Wait, no.
No, it's
No.
HIJKLM.
You were first.
So I'm next.
Who's second, I mean.
And you call me the monkey.
You literally said he was right, though.
I know, I'm
No,
terrible.
and then I thought about it, and I realized we're both morons. We're leaving this in. That's fine.
That's fine.
Okay, so you introduced yourself already.
Why
it's my
not?
turn, right?
No, just introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mikkel. I work for the moment, I work at Downtime Studios.
Nice.
Not sure how long that'll last.
It's a tenuous proposal. Hi, I'm
Mm-hmm.
Nishant. I'm in charge of things. So, on in tradition of the Downtime Studios, God damn it, Lonely Time Podcast.
Do we have other
can't.
podcasts going? Do we need to specify?
No, it's not like because this is not meant to be like where Downtime Studios talks about Downtime Studios things.
Oh, so this isn't a dev talk
Unless we're
thing.
doing
Okay.
unless we do something special.
Got it. Yeah.
But like.
I can see your
It's
point.
more about just having a podcast,
Yeah.
like making like a fun little humor podcast that we can like talk about stuff, make jokes, entertain people.
Okay.
This is an entertainment
Yeah.
podcast about entertainment.
And educational.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
No, we're teaching the sheeple to wake up and see the reality for what
Yeah.
it is.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's not.
Down
No,
with
I
the
was
sound.
actually. That's just a meme.
Stop it.
Okay, fine. We'll cut all this
No.
out. We're
No,
gonna end
we're
up
not
with
cutting this
5
out.
minutes of footage.
The mantra
Yes.
behind the Dawn of Time Studios Lonely Time podcast at Dawn of Time Studios or at Dono Tweets is the idea that the world's lame, and you don't want to hear that the world's lame, so we're not going to talk about how the world's lame.
Yeah.
That's it.
And basically we're just going to talk about fun stuff like video games and movies and music. Speaking of which,
Yeah, things that we have fun
Yes.
recently we're going to start with a little bit of movies that we've seen recently.
Sure.
I have seen one of the best movies of all time.
with. Dark Tower?
No.
Oh.
Why would you say
Unless
that?
you say it's the Minions movie, I will be very disappointed. Oh,
It's
the
not
Emoji
the
movie.
Minions movie.
The Emoji movie.
Nishant, what movie did you watch?
I watched Dead Poets Society. It recently came on Netflix.
That sounds very pretentious.
Had you not
What
seen
is
it before?
I had not.
You haven't seen...
I don't
Mikkel.
have Netflix.
It is
Okay. All right. Can we throw down right
We
now?
have-
yes.
I've discussed that I
Yes.
don't have
You're the
Netflix.
one. No, you're the one who. Last week we tried to record this, right?
Yes.
You. No, I can't watch. How is Narcos, Mikkel?
I've only been able to watch like season 1
Oh, why was that?
because I have work to do.
No, but isn't that a Netflix show?
Yeah, but like
Don't you not have Netflix, Mikkel?
I don't.
How are you watching Narcos?
At a friend's house.
Really?
Yeah, I have Filipino friends that I watch that I use their Netflix with. Like we don't Netflix and chill, we just Netflix regularly. What did you think I was doing?
So ready.
I wouldn't bring it up.
So ready.
You were so ready to just hang me on this cross. And watching Narcos
No.
is not the cross I'm gonna
Oh,
die
God.
on, friend. Defending Kimono Friends or JoJo will be the ones
Oh
I die on.
God.
What do you
Both
think of
of
Dead
those.
Poets Society, Nishant?
Yes,
It
and please
was
explain what it is
wonderful.
first. Just
Dead Poets Society is one of Robin Williams' finest works.
ooh.
It is a coming of age story in the best possible way, which is all the characters
Right.
are initially kind of assholes because that's how kids are. Kids are assholes.
Can confirm, yeah.
And so it's a good, fun, like sort of thing, but it gets very emotional. It's a very like deep and powerful movie. My mom was so sad the next day she watched Inglourious Bastards.
Why? What?
I don't know.
I
She
don't
just
see how
got
those two things
so-
correspond.
It's like it was very emotional and deep and real, and I guess she just needed something dumb and stupid.
The
with, like,
visceral, like,
Yeah.
Nazi killing?
I guess I like literally walked up to her. I was just like, "Are you sure this is This is Inglourious Bastards. Not only is this Nazis, it's also Quentin Tarantino.
Had she not seen it?
Inglourious Bastards? I don't think so.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like,
it's a fantastic movie.
It's a fantastic
It is,
movie.
yes.
But like, I don't know. To like get your mind off of Dead Poet Societies, I don't know. Maybe I would have chosen something funnier. That's like funnier. That's also not as gory.
That has the guy who played Wilson in House in it.
Dead Poet Society. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember really enjoying that movie.
It is a wonderful movie.
It's very interesting. It's kind of Holden Caulfield kind of.
It is.
Ish.
It is very Holden.
Yeah.
It is very Catcher
Except
in the Rye.
the teacher's the good guy rather than like the bad guy.
The child molester.
Yeah.
God damn. Catcher in the Rye is a book I have to.
Catcher in the Rye.
I have to go over and read it again.
What a phony.
Don't. We're not doing Catcher memes. This is not Nerd Fighteria.
Catcher in the Rye is making a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Okay. So, anything else?
Watching wise, no. I watched bits and pieces of what's it called? I'm fooling around with my audio settings because I'm way too loud. I watched a bit of Inglourious Bastards, but I'd already seen it already, so I didn't stick around.
Okay, nice. Mikkel, have you seen anything new?
Yeah, I recently saw Despicable Me 3. We discussed this briefly before the podcast. I told you guys that I enjoyed the villain and Trey Parker's portrayal of him, or playing him.
Mm-hmm.
Balthazar Bratt was his name. Basically, his whole thing was he was this 80s child star who, after his show failed, just decided, like, it was in his head, he was the villain in the show, and so he went on to become a supervillain. And I'm just imagining, like, what if... And don't get me wrong, the movie was dumb. I enjoyed it more than I thought it would, but I think that was just because they reined in the minions a little, just a bit. But then again,
that's smart.
Then again, the last movie was Minions, so really.
Well, they kind of had to.
Yeah. I mean, sky's the limit for how much they could rein them in at that point. But I'm just imagining, like, what if other child actors went and just did, like, they became the characters that they portrayed, you know? Like,
dude, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he spends his life. This would be an amazing. This would be an amazing mockumentary, by the way. Like, he just spends his life, like, toys strewn all over the house. Except his traps become gradually more lethal.
Though,
no,
now.
just
no.
This is alternate universe, Andrew. If he is dead, alternate universe. If he's not, we're wrong.
Okay.
We're gonna have our staff fact check it, by which we mean we won't do anything about it. It's fine.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
But imagine, like, he just sits in his house, like in his trailer. I guess I assume he lives in a house. Like Home Alone made a lot of money, but he sits in his house. It's all booby trapped, right? It's like going into a Fallout house. Like there's just bear traps, pressure plates, trip wires for some reason. I don't know how he set all this up, how he afforded to, or how he avoids them all, but he just does. And he just sits in the top of the house just imagining people at some point
it's like a Mario
come
dungeon.
in and steal his stuff. Like not even his valuable stuff, not even the traps themselves.
Who lives here?
Which are more valuable.
There,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
He sits there gently caressing a shotgun, just like waiting.
Yeah, like they're not gonna take my toys. Not.
So was that the only real threat in Home Alone, that they were gonna steal his toys?
No, these are hardened criminals come to rob his house. That he just defended himself with his toys, I think. Then again, it has been a while since
I've seen
You know what? We'll put it on the to watch list.
No, we should.
It's a good Christmas movie.
Right up there with Die Hard.
No, we
Die Hard.
Die
I've never
Hard.
seen Die Hard.
Oh my God, Andrew.
We have to, then. We have
it's not
to.
on Netflix.
It's a wonderful time.
Oh, Andrew, that is no excuse.
It is the best Christmas movie.
Yes, it is the best. See, Nishan agrees.
I know.
When we're having the Dawn of Time Studios Christmas party.
Why does everything have to be Dawn of Time
It needs to be branded.
So we can get tax write-offs, Nishan. What else are we doing this for?
You're right. That's the whole scheme, so that I can afford paying my exorbitant
taxes. This was a company retreat, and this was a company retreat. Oh, In-N-Out. Yeah, that was a company retreat.
Oh yeah, Nishan's house and Andrew's garage are both our offices. That's about 500 square feet.
We played Skullgirls for 20 minutes. That was probably a company retreat. I'll write it down.
This technically is a company retreat. We're both sitting around not doing work.
I mean, word, yeah.
This was a quick peek behind the scenes
Also,
at how
everything-
Dawn of Time
So,
Studios operates. by the way.
Despicable Me 3.
Yes.
Well, how did it do you think?
Probably better than it deserves to.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, and I can
Yeah,
draw a
yeah.
parallel here with the Emoji Movie. Like, yes, it got memed and shunned by the people of the internet, but it's doing really well around the world
which is
supposedly.
fucking garbage.
because
That doesn't change the fact that it has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
yes, but
Yeah.
those people who give it the 8% haven't gone out to pay for it. And the people who went and supported anyway are small children and parents of small children who go and enjoy that. Like, kids would
Yes.
enjoy this stuff. Like, the same kind of kids that would enjoy Despicable Me 3 or the Minion movie.
Maybe,
Or really
yeah.
any Illumination film.
It had... It did the thing where, it memed itself
And then it
into
just
death.
didn't work. Yeah.
So, a lot of people were ready to hate it.
Yeah. Like, when it's a
Yeah.
nice, endearing meme, like, John Lennon's temporary secretary, like that kind of thing, that's fine. Because that wasn't...
What?
Oh, okay. So basically, and this is a bit convoluted, I don't know the, basically it has to do with Vinesauce and John Lennon. So at some point, someone sampled, John Lennon's temporary secretary, and it became a meme. Like a very small meme, mind you.
What?
Because clearly even you guys don't even know about this.
This is
Is
so
this like
abstract.
your Shia LaBeouf flag conspiracy?
No, what? No, Shia LaBeouf's flag thing is real. That wasn't something I came up with. What do you mean?
Okay.
He Will Not Divide Us is real. And apparently it's the newest arc in this.
It sounds made up though, doesn't it?
does.
It does,
really
and it's a
does.
very small meme, but they actually did perform it. Like temporary
Yeah.
secretary for crowds, and it's a small meme. And that's all it is. But when they're in on it,
Okay.
it's endearing because like they became the meme, and it's a good song to begin with. Meme
So
movie
what
isn't.
parallels can you draw between Emoji Movie and
And that,
the third Despicable Me movie?
oh, they're both sold to the lowest common denominator, by which I mean small children, which I basically am.
Shitty kids.
A man-child.
Yes.
Oh God.
Raised
Remember
by
this is
children.
supposed to be about like having fun and entertainment.
We are having
not about,
fun.
Like,
This is
Yeah.
one of my few opportunities to talk about Despicable Me 3.
without getting
Vishant,
laughed
you
out the
saying you're
room.
not having fun is making me have less fun.
I'm
Yeah,
having
exactly.
fun. It's just like we're
Good.
we're
Killing
being
our buzz,
very-
man.
Good.
We're-
Everyone's having fun.
Andrew, pass
It's
around the
Good.
morning beers.
being
It's too early.
depressing. It's like everyone's depressing
Aw,
right
man.
now.
So over the weekend, we had a company retreat.
Oh my God.
At our head coder's house and finished off playing The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
That's a good movie. Yeah.
Because we have
transition, Mikhail. You don't need to be catty.
we have this insane goal to play all the good Zelda games or all the Zelda games. Is it?
Yeah, all
It's
the
all the
Zelda
good
games.
ones,
No,
right?
not all the good ones.
Oh
All of
wow.
them.
Okay.
We're playing Skyward Sword next. Of course, we're not only playing
Yes.
the good ones.
Skyward Sword's fine.
It's all right.
Just don't be hipster about it. It's Twilight Princess was very good.
It was
Um,
pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew skipped all
I
of the
can
plot
see.
points. Just whenever
I wasn't
there
paying
was
attention to any of it.
whenever there was something important, like when there was nothing important happening during a cutscene, never hit the skip button. As soon as it was dramatic, skipped. I have no idea why. I have no clue why, but he did.
Sounds like I missed a great time.
No, it's just I was interested in some parts of it, and some parts I wasn't interested in, like Midna. I feel like you guys have a different perspective on it because you grew up with this game and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like coming back to the Matrix now. Like
Oh.
I didn't grow up with the Matrix,
Mm.
and I watched the Matrix when I was like 17 or 18.
Oh, you
and
would have
didn't
hated
enjoy
it. Yeah.
But I didn't not enjoy this.
Mm.
I super enjoyed it. But it's like Midna. I couldn't get around Midna. She was the same thing as like Fee.
Well, it's more about like the evolution of the character from the beginning to the end, and it's like the relationship that has sort of like, it's because when it comes to like sidekick characters, like most of them are bad. Midna is the least bad, but because like there's a lot of things that Nintendo did to make her less absolutely aggravating. One of them was like they didn't make the noise repeat itself every 5 seconds. They made her much more important in the story of the game and much less important in the gameplay of the game.
Yeah. But back to the topic, I got drunk. They had like a couple beers, and we watched an hour worth of Indiana Jones.
Because one of our friends hasn't seen it, and yes, we are like considering either making him watch the whole thing or burning him at the stake.
Oh, we're gonna make him watch the whole thing.
You're making him watch one of the good ones, right?
We're not. There
yeah,
is no
of course.
Fourth Indiana Jones.
We're going in order.
Okay.
The fourth Indiana Jones is fan fiction. It's not real.
But yeah, so that next weekend we're getting together and watching movies, and we're probably gonna end up watching The Room, which I'm crazy excited for. To prepare for Disaster Artist.
Yes.
Of course.
Oh, I'm so excited for that
What
movie.
is it? I don't know.
Disaster Artist?
Yeah,
Or
like,
The Room.
if it's on...
It's the making of The Room.
Oh, I hadn't heard of this until now.
Seth Rogen, I think James Franco plays Tommy Wiseau. It's who's in all the Seth Rogen movies?
Yeah,
It's Seth
James
Rogen
Franco.
and
James Franco. You're right.
it is James Franco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's in that, and he plays Tommy Wiseau.
Oh,
And
yes.
I'm more than excited.
That
for
sounds
it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
The Room.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's the idea of something so bad it's good, but we already covered that in the previous episode,
We did.
so we're not going to talk about it. It's just an expansion on the previous thing. So you should totally go back and watch all of the rest of the Lonely Town podcast.
Mm-hmm. Catch yourself up. Learn the lore.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The storied history.
But I haven't watched a lot of movies lately.
Well,
I've been watching a lot of television. I've been watching Portlandia,
Okay.
which has been very good.
Oh.
Portlandia is just like a sketch comedy show about living in Portland, and it's kind of satirical, satirizes like
Oregon, or
hipster culture and stuff like that.
Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
Ah.
What other Portland is there?
I
There's a
don't
shit ton of
know. I just
Portlands.
don't
There's Portlands
really
everywhere.
associate Oregon with hipsters. I don't know why.
Yo, you need to check out Portlandia because it's like the capital, or it was the capital. I was actually looking this up. Portlandia apparently killed hipsterism in Portland because hipsterism is all about like
Not being mainstream.
being individuals and not being mainstream, and it made it mainstream.
So when it became mainstream, people just left.
So now the
Wow.
top hipster locations in the U.S. West Coast at least are San Francisco and Seattle.
That sounds about
And if
right.
you wanna
Yeah.
go-
Sorry, Portland.
If you want to go to the hipster capital of the world, obviously the only option is the Netherlands.
Netherlands
I don't know anything
is
about
a good
the Netherlands.
contender
Netherlands, so
for hipster capital of the world.
No,
Netherlands
Amsterdam.
works.
Specifically Amsterdam.
okay.
Yeah.
Amsterdam is
Netherlands,
wonderful.
Netherlands in total, but Amsterdam, yeah.
Amsterdam is
Very
wonderful.
hipster.
They have craft beers and weed. It's a great time.
And
Officially
flannel
speaking, we
shirts.
have never tried weed. And nor do we
Officially.
wear flannel shirts.
That's
That needs to be put on the record. No,
You don't wear flannel shirts, Mikkel.
No, I don't wear shirts,
I wear
period.
flannel
You've
shirts
seen me.
when it's cold enough.
no, I don't wear shirts.
Which-
Period. Yeah.
Luckily, it's been getting colder lately, so I
Yes.
can bring out my flannel shirts.
rocking his nice flannel.
Yeah.
So let's talk about hipsters.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I guess I'll start with this one. I actually have something to say.
Mikkel had a story.
Yes.
Andrew did his introduction. I'll go afterwards.
Okay, so I didn't bring this up last time when we were talking about our vacations and whatnot because it was just such a small point. I figured, why not? Why bother? I mean, because it's just. So basically, we went to, I think, Greenwich Village over in
Greenwich.
Oh, god damn it! You've been there already. Thank you for correcting me, but god damn it, now the magic's gone.
Greenwich
Keep
Village.
going.
Okay,
Keep going.
But yes, it is basically the New York equivalent of Highland Park over here. By which I mean, like, it looks kind of sketchy, but it's actually just a lot of nice bars and restaurants to eat. And one of the
Okay.
places we went there was Criff Dogs, which is in, like, you know those little, like, downstairs, they're almost like basement places where people either live or set up shop.
Yeah,
it's one of
dive
those.
bars.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
one
yeah,
of
yeah.
those. So you walk in, it really doesn't
Okay.
look like much. And I think that was intentional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And
It's
if you go to the left,
aesthetic.
it's kind of like a speakeasy. Like the central bit that you walk into
Fun.
is like it just sells hot dogs, sodas, all that. To the left is
Mhm.
the bar. Like it's hidden
Nice.
behind a thing. So you need to show your ID to get in, which is nice.
Yeah.
And they had amazing hot dogs.
Describe
Nice.
them.
Where the hipster comes in is the music. They played there, the way the place is
Uh-huh.
made, and that's and basically just the whole like way it's set up.
What, did they have, like, live bands?
No, they just played really obscure music,
Oh, okay.
This is.
and
this
also
is
a
what,
suspicious number of people wore flannel shirts despite the heat.
Uh-oh.
Suspicious? What? You think it's a hipster conspiracy?
No, it was a hipster gang, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
A gang of hipsters.
Yes, they.
They go around gentrifying everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. If anything, I should really call them like a flock, maybe a
flock.
pack.
Yeah.
Like Dazzle,
we needed
I guess,
a
if they
name
want
for
to
the
be
group
extra
of hipsters.
What is
Fabulous.
a collection of hipsters?
Yeah, basically a
Would that
commune.
be
No, not
would
a
you call
commune.
it
They're not hippies.
A
no,
craft?
A craft of hipsters.
A craft of
Yes.
hipsters?
I don't know. I like a what's it called? An organic cigarette pack of hipsters.
That sounds disgusting.
It is disgusting.
And
Well, how is the hipster culture in New York?
I have no idea. I didn't really spend much time in the hipster culture of New York. I just spent most of it with the
Okay.
touristy culture of New York,
You
which
spent
I can
most of
describe
it
as
with-
crowded, sweaty, generally unpleasant.
Mikhail spent most
Okay.
of it with the greasy meat culture of New York.
Yeah.
Nice.
I also spent a fair part of it with the American-Italian part of New York, which was fantastic, by the way.
Fantastico.
But I've talked
Ooh,
about that
yeah.
last podcast, so
Go
not
watch
gonna
our
bring it again.
stuff.
yeah.
All right, so my story.
You have hipster news?
So, hipster is a weird concept. It's like my personal Jesus Christ Donald Glover once made a quote that like,
Emmy Award winner?
yeah, Emmy Award winner, heyo, representing for the fantastic YouTube community. Fantastic in air quotes, of course. He said that like when like hipsters first like appeared in the culture of the United States,
Mhm.
they were seen as something cool because it was new and interesting, because essentially they were just like, these people don't follow the same trends that other people do.
Like most groups of new cool things,
They
yeah.
look for something newer, something purer. They're against the mass commercialization of the big companies. They don't buy T-shirts from department stores. They buy T-shirts that that their friends make. That they buy T-shirts of their friends' bands. They try to work with their hands more. They help people on Instagram and Etsy and Kickstarter, and it's this sort of like grassroots organization.
Mm.
But like when we were able to call them hipsters, then we could hate them. Then we can be like, oh, hipsters contribute to gentrification. Hipsters are like overpay for garbage, making other things more expensive for the rest of us. Hipsters are gross and they have weird beards and stupid mustaches, you know?
I saw a bit of that in New York, yeah.
But it's like...
What's your opinion?
I do not
my
care.
opinion is like... Mikhail, it was like...
I'm
my
sorry, I
thing,
could
and
not
you're just
tell
like, you just...
if he was asking me or you. We can just cut this out, pretend this didn't happen. It's fine.
We're not cutting out everything. God
Nishant,
damn
what's
it.
your opinion on hipsters?
My
Okay.
opinion on hipsters is that I think they're all right.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, if you want to live your life like a flannel-covered hippie, that's totally okay. Rock on, dude. Live your life,
Yeah.
dude. But,
Uh-huh.
like, I don't personally care. And if you, like, get up in my face and be all like, hey, you shouldn't be drinking your water because it comes from Nestle Corporation. You should totally drink this organically sourced water. I say,
Organically
do you think I'm
sourced
made of
water.
money? Do you think I'm made of money, you flannel-covered twat? It's just like...
Yeah.
I mean, we scoff organic water is probably a thing, like the sweat
It
of
is.
cows.
It definitely is. No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's,
like spring water kind of
yeah,
stuff.
spring water.
No, but that's
Artisan
organic
water.
implies that at some point. No, you know what? We won't debate this here. I'll just get angry. No.
About
There
organic
was-
water.
No,
There
about
was
how loose
actually,
the
like-
label organic is applied.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
dumb, but it's
It's-
you know
it's-
what? It's not podcast friend. This
it's-
isn't podcast material.
It's
off
free
brand.
trade water.
TLDR,
Organically
the word organic
like
means nothing.
like sustainably sourced water. We took it from this spring rather than the one next over. Mm.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know there's actually like there's this really fancy expensive water that
I'm sure
actually
that there
tastes
is.
like fruit? It just does. It doesn't have any fruits in it. It just does taste like fruit.
If you
Just
wanted that,
because
couldn't
the
you just
chemicals
juice
are-
a fruit? Or
Yeah,
eat a
but,
fruit
like-
Where
like
does
a normal human
where
being?
does it? Doesn't that just become soda then?
No, it's
No,
just,
because
it's,
soda
it's
tastes
water.
of sugar
It is
and carbonate
completely,
and that.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's completely H2O.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then it has some other chemicals in there that are naturally
Yeah.
occurring.
Is this like LaCroix?
No, it's not LaCroix. What?
Okay. I've never had LaCroix.
LaCroix is alright.
I don't know what that
is.
is.
Personally, I think anything bitter is gross. And
Is it bitter?
Well, yeah, because it's what's it called, sparkling water, and sparkling water.
Oh,
has to
sparkling
be
water is
made with,
disgusting.
like- I have no idea
Dude,
why it's so bitter and
sparkling
why
water is
people can
great.
handle it.
See that?
It's like the only stuff you can get in Europe.
I feel
Well,
bad.
yeah.
I'm never traveling to Europe then, except maybe Italy, because I am sure that they will have tons of wine. But
Well, to be fair,
Yes.
the alternative is just drinking booze, like
yeah, but
booze and beer.
This is how Europe has survived.
I haven't-
Yeah, this is how they do it.
yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm the most. I couldn't speak for all of you, but I definitely identify with the hipster culture a lot.
Yeah, you have an espresso
You.
thing.
Oh, yeah, I've been getting into coffee culture lately.
Yeah, you had the expression
and-
machine, right?
Yeah.
Not a machine,
Well, it's not a
it's a,
machine. It's a stovetop espresso maker.
Ah.
Of course. Can't
The
have
extra
And,
adjectives make it sound
uh,
extra hipstery. Well done.
I like it. I think it's kind of a like return to basics kind of socially. I kind of like that a little
We're
more.
still talking about a stovetop coffee maker, right?
Yeah.
No,
it's a
no,
return to
hipsterism.
basics socially. And this is
Hipsterism.
of a coffee machine.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
it's,
it's just.
Hipster-
oh, you're talking about
Hipsterism.
hipster. I thought you were describing
Yeah.
a coffee maker.
Yeah.
The coffee maker is a.
It's the lifestyle.
Okay.
The coffee
um,
maker is a metaphor.
Okay. Yeah, I could. That makes
Uh,
sense. Yeah. You know what?
I
That was too deep for me. I'm sorry. I just don't get it.
I don't know. I think we get comfortable with our Coca-Cola, Sprites, you know.
If that's all you can name, you're clearly not comfortable enough.
Dang.
I don't drink soda.
Oh,
That's true.
But like NBC,
that's not a soda.
Fox News,
Oh, okay.
CNN, I don't know, Starbucks coffees, stuff like that. We get comfortable with that stuff, but like being able to like draw away from that kind
And
of
just make it yourself. Yeah, I guess I can understand that.
it's an individualism
yeah.
kind of.
And also like.
I don't need the I don't need Mr. Starbuck telling me how to drink my
Oh,
coffee.
yes.
I can get up in the morning and make my own coffee,
Mhm.
and appreciate it more than anything that Mr. Starbuck can offer.
I don't know. I can't really relate. I don't drink coffee. I drink tea. Like I have, like you know the.
I drink
like
tea.
you know the tea
Oh,
that comes
dude,
in the
tea is-
cans but isn't in the bag. Like you need to scoop it up, pour it into the.
Yes.
Yes.
You drink
That is
that.
delicious.
What do you drink?
It's some Chinese brand of tea that's very expensive. So I haven't-
Darjeeling?
I don't know. I can't read Mandarin, but it tastes very good.
Souchong?
I can't read it, Andrew. It's.
Is it oolong?
I do
He
not.
just
It's
drinks
green.
it. He
It is
doesn't
some
read
kind
it,
of green
Andrew.
tea. Andrew.
Oh, it's green.
Yes, it is some kind of green tea.
Ooh, Okay.
But
Probably like jasmine then.
probably.
Yeah,
Or green
oh,
tea.
I'm way
Have you
into
ever,
tea culture,
Did you
though.
ever like? Is green tea not green tea? Does it not
Green
come from a
tea
green
is
tea
a
plant?
I mean,
kind of
green
tea.
tea is an umbrella definition.
Okay, I
for,
did
like,
not know this.
You got jasmine, you got chrysanthemum, hibiscus. You probably have jasmine if it's like a standard Chinese green tea.
I wouldn't know.
That stuff is good.
Again, I cannot read it, but it is delicious. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the-
I'm way into tea culture as well. I like that.
And like as a game designer.
Oh, I like black teas.
As a game designer,
Mm,
I
for
feel
greens.
like the whole hipster movement and the sort of retro wave kind of aesthetic, I think it's awesome because it's like it's not only like it's not that I have a hard on for pixel graphics. I actually think it's fairly limiting, but there are people doing a lot of work using these limited constraints, and they also do a lot of beautiful games with these more indie sensibilities. Because when these mass market, like, freaking massive corporations like EA and, like, Microsoft and freaking Ubisoft, when they make these big-ass games, they don't think about what came before. They just make whatever is popular that they think will sell.
Yeah.
And, like, the indie gaming spirit is entrenched in that sort of hipster ideals of, like, moving away from, like, the crass consumerism and, like, going back to a simpler time.
Right.
And
it's the same thing. We get, like, complacent in our AAA open world crouch shooter. I don't know.
With rare exception, that
Crafting-
tends to be the
crafting.
thing. Yeah. Like one of the few times that this actually. And you guys can attest to this, where we had that return to roots was with Doom, Wolfenstein, I'd say. Well, I think we can agree with we can agree on Doom
those
at the very least, because Doom was just a fast-paced, you skate around at 8 million miles an hour without reloading kind of thing. And then you had Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. And then that.
Oh, yeah.
And, don't get me wrong, I played that at a friend's house because I can't run that on my laptop. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I can't.
It's too cool.
It's like Far Cry 3 was like the cutoff, and then anything past that can't be run on your laptop.
Yeah, pretty.
That's where I am with Dishonored.
Yeah, but strangely enough,
anything that was released after Dishonored cannot be run on
but
my machine.
what's weird is I can run
Except
Fallout
for
4
Overwatch.
fine on my laptop. It's just
weird.
Blood Dragon just refuses
It's just
to.
well optimized.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's true.
Blood Dragon had like the crazy particle effects.
No, but
everywhere
but that's the return to like. To roots,
yeah,
isn't it?
You're
like,
right.
It's just that it's an 80s sci-fi action movie in game form, which I really want more of, by the way.
A creative route that you wouldn't see much in AAA gaming as much. And it's impressive to see stuff like Ubisoft and other companies when they release these things. But indie gaming is where you go to if you want like the outside of the norm kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, there's definitely way more of that than there.
Yeah. It's not only a place of like just where you can get some older kind of games like your Metroidvanias, your horror games, your old school kind of like shoot 'em ups, but like
because that covers only about a fifth of what's on Game Jolt today.
Yeah, it's like there is so much innovation and ideas being cultivated by this sort of like by this indie gaming culture that like it's completely amazing that like all these people are being suddenly given a voice to like make the game that they really want to, and personally I'm proud of being part of that tradition.
Nice.
So yeah, hipsters are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Except when they tell me to buy their shitty water.
Yeah.
And overpriced fruit.
Yeah.
Portlandia does a really good job of like there's a recurring character of the Portland mayor who's played by Kyle MacLachlan, who was in Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point he's forced to step down because apparently his printer's been broken for like 10 years and it's been printing the same thing, and he's like used up like way more energy than anyone else, and so he has to make a public apology, and then he ends up throwing his printer in the river and gets fired because of that. So there's like 2 news stories in one speech.
And so yeah, and so are we going to be moving on to the next subject?
Yeah, sure.
So I think we didn't. Wow, Andrew, you moved around all the stuff. God damn it.
Oh, it's totally freeform, man. We're not like trying to conform to anything.
I guess. So what about games you guys have played recently?
I've been playing Tooth and Tail, which is the new Pocket Watch game.
Mm-hmm.
Was released like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yep.
And it is fantastic.
Really now?
it works like an RTS. You play as a like a rat commanding an army in some kind of revolution. So it's basically like the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, but as played by rats.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's the idea behind it is to take RTSs, which have always been kind of bogged down by their own UIs and stuff like that, and different units and stuff like that, and really like boil it down to right click, left click, and like they've optimized it for controllers, which if you talked about like StarCraft on a controller,
That's insane. Yeah.
it would be impossible. Yeah. But Tooth and Tail, Pocket Watch, they made Monaco, did a fantastic job creating Tooth and Tail. The story is amazing. The music is fantastic because Pocket Watch always makes amazing music to their games.
Well, it's specifically Austin Wintory, who is like the indie game music producer, and he is a wonderful, wonderful man.
Oh. And with the backdrop of the Bolshevik Revolution, you get all that fun, like, Russian kind of sounding, raw kind of music to it.
It's got a lot of
like the USSR anthem kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's got a lot
of... Ba, 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 ba,
Well, wait, Andrew, I'm gonna
yeah.
need to officially just stop you right there. You can't sing anymore, otherwise we're gonna get taken down.
There are no copyright
That's my goal.
strikes on SoundCloud. This
No,
is
but
like
we are
where
on enough
piracy
watch lists as
happens.
it is, you and me. So let's just stop right there.
We can sing whatever we want.
It's just you and me, Mikhail. Andrew actually like keeps his secrets safe.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
What a loser.
That's true. I know how to do internet security stuff.
It's a good
Kind
time.
of. Yeah.
All right.
Other
what have
games?
you been
What have you
playing,
guys
Mikhail?
been playing?
You know I haven't had time to play anything lately.
Oh, no.
What would you wish you were playing?
Honestly, I wish I was playing more of Lisa.
Ooh.
Because
Tell us about
I
Lisa.
told you... Okay, I guess I'll just recap what Lisa is for the audience. It is a post-apocalyptic RPG. And before you just skip ahead, no, there's more to it, right? So basically, what you play as is this... I don't know how... Because I don't want to give spoilers.
It's a sad, haggard man.
Yes. And basically, you know what? I'll use the metaphor I used
Oh.
last time for it. It is the Green Lantern light ride of video games. And it just, basically, it builds up a lot, and then at the end it just punches you in the dick. Or basically, at every
good
opportunity,
Yeah.
it punches you in the dick. And for those who don't know, that's how the Green Lantern ride does, because there's a harness, goes from your crotch up to your chest, and at the end it just stops abruptly, and then you get punched in the dick. And it's a bad time.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all there is to it.
It's a good time.
I
Well, yeah,
remember
if you're
seeing
into that kind
game.
of thing.
I remembered it looked interesting.
It's really good, Andrew. I think you'd love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very deconstruction.
Oh, nice.
Again, going back to the
I don't know.
deconstruction of roots or whatever
That's
it was we were
deconstruction.
talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not into hipsters, so I don't understand.
What I've been playing.
hmm Witcher 3, right?
I've been playing a lot of Witcher 3. I've only been playing Witcher 3.
I saw.
Yeah.
It's like I got the expansion packs in the summer because I love The Witcher 3 and I love it deeply. And I was just like, I remembered like during the first week of like college. Well, no, it's actually like my first week because it's junior year, but whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's like I was just like, oh, I was gonna start over from the beginning because I wanted to change some of the things that happened along in the plot, and I was just like, I didn't want to do it. And then now, one day I was just like, I'm sad. No one else is home. I'm gonna play Witcher, and then I played it for the whole day. And then the next day I played it for the whole day. And then the next day I went to class. And then the day after that I played it the whole day. And I'm just like, I need to stop.
You're addicted.
Yeah, you need help, man.
You have a problem.
I have a very when something really like captures my attention, it holds it for a long time, because like I love like conversations, great video games, good movies, TV shows, anime even sometimes, not anymore.
Usually not what I recommend, but yeah.
Nothing you recommend.
Well, I don't know.
Nothing
We
you
agreed on
recommend.
Samurai Champloo.
That's because I recommended that.
That's true. I think we'd agree on Cowboy Bebop. That at least I think we'd agree on.
I've heard it was overrated, but I do want to see it for myself to get.
Evangelion's definitely overrated. I know that's going to get me put on people's hit lists, but I just didn't like it. I watched it.
Do people defend Evangelion?
Yeah.
Yeah, people say it's an amazing, deep anime, and I was thinking.
Is it?
No. So here's the thing. I watched it when I was in middle school, so too young to watch it because my parents figured cartoons are cartoons. Therefore, Mikkel can watch this. I was too young to watch that.
Oof.
It was a bad time. I didn't like it then, but then I thought maybe I didn't like it because I was too young for it. I didn't get the symbolism behind it, and I just generally didn't like the plot or the main character because I was too young. I wanted the protagonist to not be a wimpy bitch, just simply put. So I went back. I continued to not like the protagonist. I can relate. We would all be wimpy bitches placed in the seat of the mech required to save the world. Like, we'd all freak out a little. But I just didn't think it was deep. I enjoyed it because giant robots are fun. That's it. I didn't think it was deep. I didn't like what it was going for. And that's pretty much it. That's why. And I just thought it was overrated.
So once we actually release a really popular indie game, someone's going to come back here and watch this, and then it's going to be a problem. So you don't need to worry for like a solid couple, 3 or 4 years.
Oh,
you don't need to worry about any sort of retribution.
When I run for
how could you say this?
Yes, when I run for governor of California, or
I don't believe you.
Or indeed president, we might end up changing the constitution soon.
You can't run for president.
El Presidente.
Yes, El Presidente.
I'll vote for you, Mikkel.
Yeah, thanks. See,
yeah.
But
I don't know.
When I run for political offices, this is what's going to take me down. It won't be my rampant life of crime that I've lived. It will be this. All the weebs of the world, including the Japanese. No, I guess they wouldn't be weebs. They'd be
just Japanese. They'd be nerds.
They'd be anime nerds. Yeah, in Japan, everyone would just unite against me. They would fly over to just protest.
To beat you with blunt swords.
Yeah. In terrible cosplay, in various in various qualities of cosplay. So, depending how that goes, either a riot or an anime convention would start wherever I try to campaign.
So Downtime Studios would like to officially state that we are not anti-anime.
Nor are we running for political office.
We are anti-weeb.
We are anti-weeb.
I will comfortably say that.
I think you can be comfortable in saying anti-weeb.
Yeah, I guess
I am gonna say.
I mean, I could be comfortable in saying anti-hipster. Not that I am, but like that it can
You wear
exist.
flannel shirts. You can't be anti-hipster.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying I'm anti-hipster. I'm just saying I'm okay with the existence of it.
Yeah.
I am. Because there are some gross aspects to his hipster lifestyle.
Like those
just like there are a
mustaches.
lot of gross aspects to weeb lifestyle.
There's a lot of gross aspects.
There are
it's
many.
Mostly gross aspects.
Yeah.
I mean, as one, I can
portion
guarantee you. Yeah, I can pretty much.
Gross aspects.
Ugh, we're not gonna start any flame wars. We're gonna go back to happier topics like dark comedy. But first, a word from our sponsors. We are sponsored, of course, by EA. EA Games. I swear to God, guys, this time we're not gonna ruin everything.
All right, Andrew, you're up.
The Donatime Studios today is sponsored by Minions 2. Go see it in theaters in September 2018. Directed by Steven Spielberg.
Starring Adam Sandler and Amy Schumer.
And and
it's playing.
Make sure to use the hashtag Minions2 2D to get free swag at the doors.
And it's playing in your local, in your friendly local theater, right next to the giant pit of suffering that exists in hell, which is clearly where you are.
Yeah.
Do
we have a sponsor today, Mikkel?
Yes, we do. In fact, we are in general sponsored by Illumination Entertainment, which is why we had to bring up Minions so much this episode.
Yeah.
Minions and Despicable Me. so much.
Yeah. Have we reached our quota yet?
Oh yes, we'll have enough to fund our space program and just leave this planet pretty soon.
Yeah,
Minions.
$4,000 per mention of a Illumination movie, right?
Yeah, so be sure to watch Despicable Me 1, 2, 3, and also Minions to catch up on that sweet lore. Because that's definitely going to be important for Minions too. Yeah.
Oh, can the next Minions movie be about like Vikings?
I want it to just
like only Vikings. Though.
I want it to cover
Minions,
their
but it's just a
historical
Viking
failures.
Minions,
Like
Vikings.
the whole reason Harold Hardrada failed to take over England would be because the Minions just steered them wrong.
Yes.
Or the whole reason that Napoleon failed was because of the Minions in his staff. You know what I mean?
Or the next season of Game of Thrones to only be played by Minions. Just completely animated by Minions.
The fall of the undead king being caused by Minions. Sorry for spoilers, but quite frankly, I
couldn't care less.
Yes, really.
Donatime Studios is not responsible from any serious life-ending diseases you may have contracted while listening to this episode of Lonely Time Podcast.
Rest assured, however, most of them can be
memes.
Rest assured, though, most of those diseases can indeed be cured by watching of Minions. So, go on out there.
Oh my god.
So, talking about dark comedy, the new season of BoJack Horseman came out.
I don't know what that is. Please explain to the viewers.
BoJack Horseman is a Netflix show. Voice with the main character played by Will Arnett from Arrested Development fame. And he plays a horse who was in a famous sitcom in the 90s. And is set in the current times, and he's kind of a washed-up actor. And the world that they live in is half populated by anthropomorphic animals and half by people. And when we meet BoJack Horseman in modern days, it's been 20 years since he's had any good work. He lives in an amazing house, but still has an agent and will always try to find work, but will always kind of manage to self-sabotage himself. That's redundant. But he's an alcoholic. He is not a semi-frequent drug user. Just kind of asocial to begin with. And his sidekick and roommate is played by Aaron Paul.
Which is
pretty
awesome.
good. Yeah. It's a very good show. Very dark. And I've been holding off on watching the new season. I watched the first episode, and the first episode was like pretty much everything I just mentioned. I always like to describe it as if Rick and Morty were more kind of surreal and or more influenced by surrealism to begin with, and less like nihilistic, and more socially conscious than like scientifically nihilistically conscious. And I've been holding off on this recent season just because I want to watch it with my dad, because we've been watching Rick and Morty lately, which has also been amazing. Did you see the recent episode?
Oh my god, yes. Can we talk about this, or is it spoiled? No, it's been out. It's not spoilers.
No, we can talk about it.
Yes, can we please talk about this?
That was an amazing episode.
Are we talking about the Citadel?
The whole
Yes.
The whole evil Morty reveal.
Yes. Oh, I love the way they revealed it too.
Oh my
gosh. Like with the background music and with nothing else to give context. That was
No,
I also like the whole sort of.
There was also images from the campaign managers.
Yes. I also love the whole sort of House of Cards thing that they did with his speech with the was the Chancellor or the Council, and also the sort of Blade Runner-esque thing that they did with Cop Morty, and I guess it would be Cop Rick.
Oh yeah,
that was like more along the lines of L.A. Confidential, but it is that sort of noir.
But it just kind of felt like a sci-fi noir kind of thing, and basically everything that goes wrong with the police is just, it's basically just put up as something routine, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
such a good episode.
It really was.
It was a wonderful time. And so
I appreciate dark humor a lot. I think it's one of those things where like if it isn't like included, it's kind of uncomfortable and weird because it's kind of like the dark without the light or the light without the dark. If you just have the light without the dark, then it's uncomfortable and kind of weird. Kind of secondhand to like a kids show almost. Because it does exist, like
Right.
alcoholism, these washed up actors who have nowhere to go or turn to. This stuff happens all the time. And if you didn't cover it, if you just had it about an actor who hasn't worked since the 90s, who's doing perfectly fine with himself, and honestly, it wouldn't be a believable character.
Or it would just be very boring.
Yeah.
Like, it would just be a documentary on some actor who's now doing nothing and just kind of coasting on the money he made in the 90s.
Well, it could be like that comedy, right? Like, it could still have that, I don't know, 80s sitcom kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
But, like, it would just feel uncomfortable.
I feel like the popular comedy of the day is always a reflection of the era sentiment. I feel like that's always been like very true, and not just because I'm in comedy and writing course.
Yeah.
But it's been
All
like
in the Family.
Yeah, it's like
kinda...
when the world was a dark and frightening place, we wanted more levity out of our television. But like nowadays, instead of being dark, it's more upsetting, and so we want some kind of like, we want something that sort of like feeds into that like lets us know that what we're feeling is not just us being crazy. We like this sort of dark comedy, like this dark comedy genre that's grown out of like Netflix and HBO. That's sort of like, it's more about it's about like fear, about like our fears and like how we can laugh at them, because it's like it's like some people go into Rick and Morty and they're like, well, this kind of makes me feel a little bit nihilistic. It's a bit dark. It's a bit gloomy. A lot of people love Rick and Morty because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's like it's hilarious because of its sort of like relatability to like what we're thinking, in a way. Like the whole like storyline of the Citadel episode, that's why people are talking about it so much, is very like, it's very related to things we enjoyed when we were younger, like these sort of noir, cool cop kind of like action hero kind of thing, this sort of dark action hero, things like Max Payne and like LA Confidential, LA Noire.
And you also had that subplot with the factory of the bars that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, like that feeling of like being someone who is told that you are someone who's destined for greatness,
or someone just unique, and then just shoved into
and how
that.
being unique can be a danger to you.
It's a pain.
Yeah.
And it's like it really captures a sentiment that like not only makes you think, it also makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Because that was actually pretty funny. And I don't know how much the whole thing where he killed off the council and ran for president was really something we'd watched or enjoyed as kids. But
that's more about related to us as adults.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear, because I don't know what kind of movies you watched as kids. So, but if that was the kind of thing you watched as kids, you need to give me a watch list here, man, because that sounds like good shit.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of like dark humor, not necessarily exactly lately, but like to see how it's kind of evolved over time. I like going back to Bo Burnham comedy specials. Because they're always such like a zeitgeist of when they were made and the humor of the time. Not that they were even made that long ago, but just like 5 years ago, how different like the presentation and his jokes, like looking at where they were then versus where they are now, or where they aren't now, I guess, with Bo Burnham. He's not really doing anything.
which is kind of sad. But you know what? It's okay.
Yeah. It in some ways recently there's been like a humanization of the artist, which I think is particularly interesting to look at.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, exact. Like Bo Burnham's farewell in his recent comedy special, like most recent comedies. What was that called?
It was like his second Netflix special.
Make Happy. His kind of farewell in that was such a interesting just humanization. Like, this is a person, and not just for your entertainment either. This is a job, or B, their life, and they really enjoy this stuff. And that's another thing that Rick and Morty brings. Like, you get a very real sense of Dan Harmon / Justin Roiland's personalities in Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great thing.
Because
I think they do a really good job with it.
They're very talented.
Yeah.
And also very funny, which is the most important part.
Yeah,
because if they were
comedy, though.
Hide the pain with the funnies.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's the new company slogan. Don't wear it out.
That's pretty good.
We're gonna move back into a cheerier topic.
Yeah. Do you guys listen to any podcasts, by the way? Because
yes.
This is like this is a podcast in and of itself, but like I was curious if you guys listen to any.
Oh yeah, I do. I listen to the official podcast. And
the what?
The official
podcast.
By who?
It's with Critical and 3 of his friends, and they have guests. One of which they have had a huge variety of guests. Like they had PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, and also Vinny from Vinesauce. Like they've had quite the spectrum of guests. My goal is eventually to get there. I'll probably end up dragging it down, but who knows? We can dream.
Mikhail goes on.
How about you guys?
Oh yeah, do you listen to anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay.
I don't watch
Nishant,
podcasts.
Do you listen to any podcasts?
I listen to. Well, I edit this one, so I have to listen to this 2 or 3 times.
Ugh.
I listen to the Hank and
this podcast.
I listen to the John and Hank Green podcast, or the John and Hank Show. I forgot the name of it.
What's that one called? Green Show?
No, I think it's literally called the John and Hank podcast. It's funny. They call it. It's a comedy podcast about I don't know, like nerdy stuff and death. I think that's theirs, and which is amazing. And it's a fun little funny time, and they take questions from the audience, and it's a good time. The other 2 podcasts I listen to sometimes if I'm working is both by CGP Grey, who's an amazing YouTuber. One of them is the Cortex podcast, which is about it's more about organization. It's more about like keeping things in like a sort of like nice little it's a nice little it's about organization. It's about thinking about things differently. It's a good time if you want something like more like thought provoking. And also there's Hello Internet, which is by CGP Grey and Brady, who's the guy from Numberphile, and that's like a funny little nerdy one. They do talk like about like weird little YouTube stuff and little things they see on Reddit, but it's a good time.
Cool.
How about you, Andrew?
I listen to a lot. There are 2 podcasts specifically that I haven't been listening to much lately, either because they don't release them or because they don't, or I don't have the time, or I'm not bored enough, are the Hat Films Hat Chat and Rooster Teeth, the Rooster Teeth podcast. Mm-hmm. I used to listen to the Rooster Teeth podcast a lot, and I've waned a little, just because I'm not following Rooster Teeth as much anymore on YouTube and stuff. Yeah. And Hat Chat hasn't released an episode in a while. But there are a couple that I do listen to relatively frequently. One is Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast, and that's like, it's impossible to listen to a full episode of his because his episodes are always about 5 hours long.
Jesus.
5 to 6 hours long. And they cover a topic in history that isn't covered as well, but is really fascinating to look into. Like, recently he did he has an episode out now on the Roman conquest of Gaul.
Ooh.
And just how Julius Caesar kind of took them all over and like really ruined their culture and everything and stuff like that. It's interesting. And one that I'm really excited about and have been really into lately is called Conversations with People Who Hate Me. Have you guys seen this?
No.
I've heard of it.
It's put on by Dylan Marin, who has hosted a couple NPR podcasts in the past and has very out there left-wing Democratic views. And in the past shows has said that. So what he will do is look through his comments, because he reads his comments on the videos, and pick out someone who says something hateful to him.
I imagine there's a lot of that.
He's gay and has very out there views, so will often be very kind of divisive, especially in comment sections.
Oh boy, yeah.
So he'll literally take someone from the comment section and make an episode with them where they talk and discuss the topic that the person had issue with and who they are and stuff like that. And that's another great example of humanizing the people out there who have vastly different views to us. It's very interesting. I highly suggest listening to it. It's just so amazing to see the people that he has conversations with who start out he reads the comments, so you get a sense of who they are his initial response to them, and then goes into the conversation with them. And it's just fascinating to see, because these people will have like awful comments, homosexuality is a sin or stuff like that, and you shouldn't be saying this stuff about like cops or something like that. And he'll have a deep conversation with them about the issues, and both parties come away a little more like informed. And what's even more fascinating is that the conversations are never very heated. Like, no one's screaming at each other, no one's kind of like threatening the other person or anything. It's just kind of a real conversation between two vastly differing opinions. It's very interesting.
By the way, the Green Brothers podcast is called Dear John and Hank.
Okay.
It's a good
Nice.
time. They have this running joke where like at like I think it's like 2020 if someone doesn't get someone if a man doesn't come on the moon in 2020, if a man goes to the moon at 2020, the podcast names gets changed to Dear Hank and John instead of Dear John and Hank, which is a great time.
Oh, okay.
This is the little tiny little bet thing, which is hilarious.
If a man does or doesn't land on the moon, I'm sorry.
It does land on
the
Mars.
moon.
On Mars. Okay,
On
I was wondering why we
Mars?
didn't want to go back to the moon.
Oh,
No, I think it's.
I don't know. The moon's pretty cool.
No, I
I think
mean,
it's 2030.
10
not
trips have already
2020.
been made there, right? They found
Yeah.
some rocks, analyzed them, and decided there was
13?
not much else there. 13, I'm sorry.
But then we found water.
Yeah, and then that was it.
Moon
On the moon?
water.
Yeah, there's-
moon water.
Frozen water on the moon. Yeah.
Huh.
Moon water.
Cool. Yeah, I follow a lot of podcasts. One that I should listen to more is Pod Save America. It's hosted by a couple of former aides to Obama.
Ooh.
And they talk about current events and really like in depth explain them and what to kind of expect out of certain things. And they cover things like things that you wouldn't know because they were heavily involved in like government and stuff like that. So like dealings with Congress and stuff like that from like the president's perspective. It's interesting to see.
Ooh.
It's exciting.
I'm looking them up now. One
Yeah.
of the podcasts is entitled A Song of Fire and Fury. This is going to be a good time.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're done. We're done talking about politics. We're done. We're sorry.
Hey, that was just a Game of Thrones reference. It's why I pulled it up. Because
I know.
Yeah.
And I know this is
But-
probably a controversial opinion now, but I am enjoying the new season. I enjoyed
That's
the new
fine.
season of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
No, because for some reason, and I don't know why it is, but people have become. I don't know why, but people are just. They seem to hate it for some reason. And I'm not going to discuss the end of it because some people might still be catching up. But I guess
I think it was Ed Sheeran's fault.
Oh yeah, it's all Ed Sheeran's fault. Like that split second where he looked at the camera just ruined it and it all went downhill.
Yeah.
From there.
No! How could they?
Like it was
my favorite show ruined by Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran.
He was
raises fist to the sky.
No, he was the chosen one.
Ed Sheeran is.
I love all the people who like got upset about that, because how upset did you need to be when you saw that? Like,
He really didn't.
No, not at all.
As soon as they appeared on the screen, they turned it off, uninstalled all their pirated copies, and went on Twitter.
I feel like it's just like.
I cannot believe you.
I can't believe you've done this.
I feel
How
like it's
dare
just.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more like.
And he wasn't even on there for that long. It was one scene, less than 10. If I remember that correctly, less than 5 minutes long. And I don't think he actually looked at camera. That might have just been something they did for the ad. But
It's because there are some people who just really don't like Ed Sheeran, which is perfectly fine. That's perfectly valid. I haven't liked every song he's made. I've liked much more of his older stuff than he does the stuff now.
Sure.
He's gotten a bit too poppy for me. I liked it better when he was more folk.
Yeah.
But like, or when he works with Pharrell. But that's just like, that's not fair. Working with Pharrell just makes everyone amazing. Most people amazing. I don't know. There's a lot of weird new acts working with Pharrell now, and I'm very suspicious of them.
I'm sorry if you have to hear that in the recording, but I just hit my mic with my hands.
I didn't hear it.
My mic's still in my Wii.
Oh yeah, you're still using it as a stand?
It's pretty good.
It's a great time.
Yeah.
Oof.
I've been listening to a lot of new music lately, actually.
Oh.
Sorry to continually bring this back to hipsters, but do you know the website Pitchfork?
I have, yeah.
No.
Pitchfork is a pretty much haven for hipster music.
I will
and
avoid it
music
like the
culture.
plague. Got it. Yeah.
And they have top albums of certain times. So I went on. I was like, I kind of need to familiarize myself with like recent music, because I have I save albums that I want to listen to on my Spotify, and I have Rolling Stone's Top 500, and that's fine. But like, I really that stuff covers here up until the top of the top in 2012. And I'm missing out because of that. Like, there were maybe about 5 albums from the 2000s to the 2010s in the Rolling Stone Top 500. So I was like, I really need more of this if I want to kind of familiarize myself with modern music. So I want to kind of
start the underground,
pick some, and Pitchfork was great for that. Like, they have the top albums of the 2000s, 2010s, 90s. So I have a ton of new hipster albums to listen to, which I'm super excited about.
Have you given a listen to Pimp a Butterfly?
No, it's on my list.
Nice.
Listen to what?
Recently,
To Pimp a Butterfly, in my opinion, it is a rap album in the most beautiful, pure form. Well, not most pure, I guess. It is a wonderful album. It is my personal best album ever, because it's just
but recently,
so dense and awesome.
Recently, I listened to Sun Kill Moon's Benji, which is good, very folky.
Ooh.
And LCD Sound System Sound of Silver, which is all right. It's not my flavor of things to do. It's dance electronic punk.
Yeah.
I don't listen to electronic that much, but LCD Sound System does a very good job with it.
Personally, I'm no hipster. I like things in the modern era as well, but I do also like things that I'm in the middle of the spectrum. But like, my one big gripe against the music of our era is that the names are getting stupider of like the artists.
Pull up some examples for me.
Oh my god. LCD.
Well, everything's alternative.
No, some names that you think are stupid that are dumber than, say.
Are you talking about genres?
No, because Nishan brought up dumb band names, and I'd like some examples just for reference.
All right, first off, LCD Sound System is a terrible name.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's
No,
like
it's not.
it's so meaningless. It's just like LCD Sound System. It's just
And the Beatles is meaningful.
Why? No, it's like it's simple and concise.
Daft Punk.
Daft Punk is awesome.
The Doors.
Nishan. That's true. But like, okay,
Papa
but there's
Roach.
some serious
Smash
there
Mouth.
there is some serious stupid ones nowadays. There is freaking
Three Doors
bad,
Down.
bad, not good. All caps.
What?
Bad, bad, not good. They are a wonderful production group. They play live instruments. It's a wonderful time. They're great musicians, but bad, bad, not good. Bad, bad, not good. That is the best thing you could have come up with. And it's in all caps. It's in all caps.
Yeah.
And it's just like, God, and they're all white dudes. And it's just like, of course they are.
Well, I mean, being all white dudes isn't necessarily a bad thing. There was that Ned Flanders tribute metal band. That was awesome.
That was
Yes.
all right for a while. And
No,
that
I
was
mean,
just, like, the
I'm
Getting
into
Boy
metal.
thing.
I'm biased, but I just
Not mean,
enjoyed that.
though.
No, oh yeah, it was. I just enjoyed their music. But you know what? No band name will top Betty White Titfuck, in my opinion, because that's just too
it's
good.
Up there.
Oh, God.
And they've been out since 2015, so that is current day stuff.
I think like my favorite band names are always like something that have a little bit of story behind them. Like it's not just like we came up with a band name because we thought it was cool. Like one of my favorites.
Lady Gaga.
Like one of my favorites was like band names, not just acts. It's like
Well, yeah, she's not named Lady Gaga.
yeah, but like
That'd be a
I
terrible
like
birth name.
like one of my favorites is Cannibal Corpses, which is funny because they're all vegan. And so it's just like that's a great time, and they are so freaking metal. Oh my god, they have like 13 gauge guitar strings. It's nuts. It is a great time.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
I will give it to you. There are some not great names lately. Lil Uzi Vert. I'm just looking at global top 50 on.
Is that
Lil
really
Uzi
your
Vert.
biggest problem with current day bands, though? Their names.
Triple X Tentacion?
Oh my god, XXX.
Oh yes.
We're
Oh,
not
now you're
talking
getting into
about
my
him.
territory, friend.
We're not talking about
No, we are
him.
not. But that I am pleased.
Not only is he a meme, he's also
He's
very divisive
terrible,
because he's
yeah.
a goddamn filthy encrusted human being.
Yeah, he did do bad stuff, didn't he?
He did bad stuff is the understatement
Probably
of this
did some bad
podcast.
stuff.
We can't
We're
talk
moving
about
on.
it. It's
We're
no.
moving on.
Yeah.
It's like
But yeah, I don't know. White Stripes. Some of this stuff it's not like beautifully named, but like, they come into their own.
I guess but it's just like there's been more. I think because there's a much more wide variety of music acts that I'm seeing a lot more stupid names, and I guess
Yeah,
like that is that is sort
Oh,
of the
dude.
point of like being able to grab someone's eye and be like, what the hell? I have to click on this. But then sometimes it's just like, oh, well, I guess they were all only the name, no substance behind it, like Lil Uzi Vert. Got him. That's right.
I added an album
I said
lately
it.
by an artist named Panda Bear.
Oh, God.
The story behind that's very likely that person just likes pandas. And quite frankly,
This album art is great, though. The
Is it?
album art for Person Pitch by Panda Bear is pretty good. There's a llama in it, and a tiger, and a fennec fox.
I love
and
fennec.
of
They're adorable.
course, a
Fennecs are
panda bear.
Of course.
I am looking.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the album art on Google now, but
It's a wonderful time for artists out there. Even with you and your stupid
Oh,
names,
definitely.
you can get good.
I love the subreddit r/album or fake album covers.
Ooh, I love it.
That's a very good
I love it on
Is
a
that
deep and
real?
personal level. Yes.
Yeah, people get like they get art and or like pictures and create albums out of it. Like they give it a name and an artist, and it creates a story around like. Did you find Person Pitch?
no, I found r/fake album covers, and I'm not gonna talk about what this is because it's depressing.
Dude, it's
But
great.
It's in memes. It's fine.
It's a wonderful time.
Oh, beautiful.
I think it's like r/fake album covers. I've enjoyed so much that I actually started like making little album covers on the side just for fun. but like I haven't been keeping up with it, which is funny because it's just like I thought I was like, oh, I'm gonna put this in my portfolio, and then I did nothing. I made a couple that were very simple, that were meant to be like little introduction pieces to like get me into like composition, and then I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's too much work.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
go
mean, that's
play
what it's
more-
good for.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play more Witcher
More
3.
Witcher.
Yeah. Ugh, I can't wait
Yeah,
until I get
you have a problem.
Breath of the Wild. That's gonna be.
And then you can obsess over that.
Yeah.
Are you gonna 100% that?
100% is definitely
You'll own
not
it.
recommend for that, but I
Oh,
will
yeah.
complete it. I will complete it to the best of my ability.
I'm just gonna close the subreddit. I need to, otherwise I'll never leave.
It's too good.
It is. It's just.
Yeah.
I'm sad I didn't find out about this until now.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. I mean, the Emmys are happening right now. Do you want to talk about that since you seem to have
Yeah.
watched them?
They're all right. They're kind of weird. I find as I get older, award shows get weirder and more uncomfortable.
It's
Why?
because they're more run by companies now.
Yeah,
I mean-
like it's the CBS Emmys. So like, of course they have to have Sheldon Cooper and young Sheldon up there.
Oh, can we talk
Yeah.
about young Sheldon just briefly?
Can we just?
Yeah,
can we-
let's.
Let's start from Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
Let's start there
Yeah.
and then move to Young Sheldon.
I watched Big Bang Theory.
Paul
Yes.
loves that.
I liked
yeah.
Big Bang Theory
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit until it kind of stagnated
Mm-hmm.
and didn't do anything with like the characters or anything like that. No one really progressed.
Right.
And I just got kind of bored. And they did progress, I think, at one point, and it's gotten maybe a little better. But the thing with Big Bang Theory is Sheldon was never really the
The main
character. It was kind of an ensemble, kind of Leonard being the main character. And they're banking off Sheldon in this whole young Sheldon thing. Which feels to me like taking advantage of someone's disability. Like making money off of that. And it just
Yeah.
feels uncomfortable and weird to me.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, yeah.
there are people out there with Asperger's, and it's not funny. It's not fun to them.
Sheldon canonically
but
has
that's what they're-
Asperger's.
that's-
He's not just.
It's more about autism, because that's the idea of like him being.
I thought Sheldon was just uncomfortable and weird.
not
I didn't realize
autism,
that he
though,
actually
because
canonically had
he-
a disease.
He did not. He does not canonically have a disease. That's why
Okay.
they can sort of get away with it. But it is mirroring the same sort of struggles that these people
Right.
go through.
I just.
It's not autism though.
Okay.
It's Asperger's.
It's just Sheldon being
Um,
weird because canonically, like you guys just said, he doesn't have disease. Because I never actually got into Big Bang Theory that much. I watched a little bit because you guys seemed to like it, so I tried it and never really
Yeah.
got into it. But my biggest,
But
like, you go on. Sorry.
young Sheldon kind of just feels uncomfortable and weird to me. And I don't think it'll do well.
I imagine.
But
I think
I don't know.
personally, it's like I feel like my issue with young Sheldon is that Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory was essentially like the straight man to everyone else's stooge, and jokes bounced
No?
off of him essentially, or maybe it was the other way
No.
around.
No,
sometimes.
it's just that he had.
It was
His
always
strength
the other
wa-
way
yeah.
around.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. Sorry, I got it backwards.
Yeah.
It's just like the jokes are funny because they bounced off of someone else. They weren't funny just because he.
Yeah,
was
and if
there.
you just isolate
Which
the
is-
characters,
Yeah.
they're very boring.
Yeah,
And
it's
that-
like they grab
this-
they grab the wrong end of the stick. But like my issue with the Big Bang Theory was essentially it was just like it was okay for a while because I'm like, oh yeah, it's nice to have a little bit more like nerd culture on display. It's
Yeah.
fun.
And then it just kind of
I'm
idled,
nerdy.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like it didn't just idle, and personally like I started hating the Big Bang Theory because at some point the joke was haha they're nerds. Like that was the
Yeah.
punchline for every joke. And it really started to upset me because it's just like it's just like it started like this
'Cause
is
you could
malicious at some
identify
point.
with that.
Yeah, because it's just like the original thing is like it's like nerd culture. I understand these sort of feels, and then it's just like he's a pervert because he's never touched a girl, and I'm just like, that is.
No, I can go to low tier anime for that kind of humor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of low tier humor, that was my biggest concern for young Sheldon, because just having an awkward character struggle through their formative years, arguably, that would just get tiring fast. And that's something that this may be flashback for one material in an episode where Sheldon develops and changes his character because he encounters someone from his past or something, that kind of thing.
It would be really cool if they structured the show like a drama, and
there's another show like that. It's The Good Doctor.
Oh, that looks garbage.
I've heard good things.
I haven't watched it.
I saw a trailer for it and saw all of nothing about who the person was. And
nope, the pitch was
what the story was.
The pitch was, as far as I could tell from the commercials, this young doctor is autistic, giving him house level doctoring abilities, and people doubt him because he's autistic, and that's the whole thing.
It's made by the guy who made a house.
Okay.
So that gives me some hope for it, but because it's not shipping itself as a comedy, for starters. Like, it can't be Scrubs while this character just struggles with their disease and also doctoring.
Yeah.
Like, that's just really depressing.
But I think,
to be honest with you,
I think a show for, kids on the spectrum growing up, being able to look up to young Sheldon would be amazing.
Yes.
If they could do that correctly.
Like if they made Sheldon like he was a good student, he actually manages to get a good social life going despite this. Like, he finds his little niche of friends.
But yeah, he has to work through it. It has to be that's the conflict for the character.
Right, it can't just be Sheldon is awkward and nerdy.
Yeah.
And
but the thing is,
I really don't think that's how they're gonna do it.
Yeah, because they immediately distance Sheldon as a character from most of the spectrum. They several times the butt of the joke is I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested, and it's
and that's just really sad. To be honest with you,
it's kind of a sad joke, but it is kind of funny in the moment.
No, it's not even really dark humor. Taken out of context, that's just depressing.
Yeah, out of context, it's depressing, but it's
and I guess that's kind of true for most things.
It's they separated themselves from that sort of idea because it is it's a very dark topic and making.
No, but if they addressed it correctly, this could have been
great.
An
okay job with that.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Speaking of one of the gripes that you guys brought up about Big Bang Theory lately was that the joke is just haha they're nerds, and that was something I liked about Stranger Things, and I know that's probably overhyped now. That's probably over.
I don't know.
Stranger Things is good.
No, but it is good. But I like the way that they portray the kids as nerds. The joke isn't that haha they're nerds. Their whole lives are shaped around their being nerds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just chill.
It's not
on their own playing D&D, and thus, consequentially, they have a really small social circle, including themselves and nobody else, which makes sense. Yeah, and that's not the butt of the joke or anything. That's just how they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And if Big Bang Theory kept with that sort of thing, they it just had them doing nerdy stuff. Well, that nerdy stuff wasn't the joke. It would have stayed good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a problem with a lot of people have issue with Chuck Lorre.
Who is that?
He did 2.5 Men, Two Broke Girls.
I haven't watched
Big Bang
Two
Theory.
Broke Girls, so.
But all of this kind of missable, avoidable kind of sitcoms that are on nowadays. He did one for Netflix. It was called Disjointed, and it's about having a weed shop, and it's made by Chuck Lorre, and it's not well rated on Netflix.
I'm going to be honest with you. That Disjointed sounds more like some kind of porno than an actual sitcom. But, no, just imagine, right?
I'm not gonna.
No, I don't want to imagine. Can we not imagine?
No, just based off the title alone, that sounds more like a porno than a show.
No,
I'm not actually telling you guys to imagine what the plot would be. I'm just saying. That's all it sounds like to me. It doesn't sound like an actual sitcom.
I think it's the idea of it. It's not lowest common denominator humor. It's most common denominator humor.
Adam Sandler versus.
It's inoffensive. It's clean.
So basically, Minions.
Yeah.
We're gonna end the podcast right there, folks. The Downtime, the Lonely Time podcast.
One of these days you'll learn to call the podcast by what it actually is.
I know.
Without flubbing it.
We'd like.
This has been the Lonely Time Podcast with your hosts, me, Nishan, and
Me.
Andrew.
And me.
Thanks for being lonely with us.
Thanks for listening.
See you guys.
Stay
you
lonely,
next
my
time.
friends, but hopefully not
Don't
too
stop
lonely.
saying stay lonely.
You know what? Go make some friends. Stop
It's
being so lonely. Stop listening to the
thing-
podcast.
The thing is, thanks for being lonely with us. That's the thing, because it's funny.
I'm confused. Are we still recording this?
Yes,
or
we're
not?
still recording.
Yes, this is canon. We're adding this to the lore. This is
God
going in
damn
the
it.
sequel.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah,
Stop.
this is me signing off.